All right, hello everybody. Happy Thursday Live. Let me get everybody up on my computer here. All right, how is everyone doing today? Oh, my iPad has beeped and we are live. All right. Let's see. There we go. What's everyone up to today? Staying warm if you're in the Alberta area. Just gonna grab my blending brushes. I forgot to. Wanted to get a few little. Get some I haven't used yet. Okay. All right, I've got the heater on in my room, so I'm gonna be nice and warm in here. We'll give it a moment, see if anyone is able to jump in live. All right, I had to put the heater on, like I said, in my office here. It's a little nippy. It's quite chilly here in Calgary today. So we're in a bit of a cold spell, but I mean, it is winter, so we can't complain. So you guys, I've got some fun stuff to show you today. We are going to be doing a little bit of playing with these Lisa Horton metallic pigment inks. I'm working here with the limited edition set. So this is actually a 3-pack. So these 3 all come together. They were out of stock, but now they're back in stock. And then I've got actually a couple of the new metallic ink colors that I'm going to show you as well. And we're going to take a look at some new embossing folders. Hello, Victoria. That are going to be coming into the store. They're on order right now. But it's kind of it's a new product from Lisa Horton. And yeah, they're pretty cool. So we're going to take a little sneak peek. Hello, Cynthia, at those as well. But before that, we'll do a little bit of playing with these metallic inks. And if you're a member of the Paper Crafting Friends group, hi Cynthia, we've got a challenge going right now for February, and the February challenge is masculine. So this would actually be a really good, oops, hang on, sorry. This would actually be a really good, these would be some great inks to create a project. So we're going to actually play with the Celebration Balloons embossing folder. Okay, and this also has some simple coloring stencils, but we're going to kind of color them in a little bit of a different way. We're actually going to color directly on this embossing folder and then run our cardstock through. These stencils, and I'll show you what these look like. You can actually use these on their own if you don't want to do the embossing. So it might be kind of a fun way to use those on a birthday layout, for example. But let's take a quick boo here at these metallic inks. And we'll kind of have very similar properties to the interference inks in that they are a pigment ink, although the interference are a dye and pigment ink combo. But these are actually also water reactive. But the interesting thing, maybe I'll just show you, I'm just going to bring in an interference ink just to kind of show you the difference here between the two. So, with the interference inks, the big difference with these guys were that they would look more green on white and then purpley on black. So they look like different colors. So I'm just going to, oh, I think I messed that up. I think I used that foam from a different color. Hang on, I'm just going to switch this out here real quick. Grab a different foam. I know this already has a color on it. Hi, Jennifer, but I have washed it, so I'm just going to flip that page over. So I just kind of want to show you this here really quick, just so you can see the difference here. So this is the interference ink. Okay, and that's this is the color that it looks like. I'm just going to zoom in here a little bit, guys. Just want you to see the difference in the, okay, hang on. Except my phone. I tell you guys, I still haven't figured out the zoom in thing. There we go. That's a little better. Okay. So this is what our interference ink looks like on white. And then when you put that down onto the black, and I'll hold that up to the camera a little bit closer for you guys. Okay, I know you might be familiar with this, but if you're not familiar, that's just some loose ink blending here, but you can kind of see as that starts to dry on the black. So it's a purpley color, and then it's green on the white, and it's got a wee bit of a shimmer. As it dries back, then that shimmer kind of comes out a little bit more. Okay, but now let's take a look here at the metallic ink. And so what you're going to find, and I'm just going to grab a new foam. Should have done this before. Actually, we'll just use this guy. I'm going to use my little blending brush because I want to use it later anyways. Okay. I got to load that up a little bit more. So with our, so I just want to hold that up here. So this is the metallic ink, and you can see it has a lot of shine right off the bat as soon as you apply it. But you can see that when you put it on black, okay, unlike the interference ink, this doesn't change to a different color. Okay, so it's silver on white and it's silver on black. Okay, so that's the biggest difference between the two. Hi, Melanie. Okay, so that's the silver shine. Okay, and then this is the solid gold, and I'm just gonna kind of swipe a little bit on here just to make it go a little faster. Okay, and again, as this metallic dries, that kind of shine and shimmer is going to really intensify. Okay, and then we've got the copper pot, which is a really pretty coppery color. So if you've got, I'm just kind of envisioning this, if you've got any of like chipboard gears or any of those Tim Holtz like die cuts that are gears, that would be really fun to use these inks with those dies. Okay. And so after we play with the balloon embossing folder, we'll add some spritzes of water as well, just to kind of see how that reacts with water, because it should interact kind of similar to an oxide because it's water reactive as well. Okay, so that's a quick look. And so again, basically the metallic inks are going to be the same color on white as on black, unlike the interference that change color. Okay, so let us take a quick look here and kind of play with this stencil. So I pre-embossed just this piece of black card. Actually, I don't want to do that. Let me just put that aside. I'll show you that with the stencil, but I just want to use a solid piece of paper. And you know, your papers disappear even though you have them cut. There it is. It's right beside me. Okay, I kind of cut it down to size to fit in here. So this is the celebration balloons, and so I'll just kind of show you kind of what they look like pre-embossed. Okay, because we're going to add color, and I could add my color with the coordinating stencils here. Okay, but I'm going to add my color directly to my embossing folder, and then we're going to run this through the Big Shot. Okay, so I'm going to start this, and I'm going to add my color to, okay, this is the front side of the folder, but this is just you can feel it's like a little well. Okay, so these are the places where I'm going to add this color. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I can just kind of slide my black cardstock underneath here, then I can kind of see the shapes here. Okay, so just going to load up my little blending brush here, and I'm using my Altenew brush here, and I'm just going to kind of randomly add my ink to the various balloons, starting with the Silver Shine. Okay. So no rhyme or reason, just kind of here and there. And I'm going to take my solid gold and just add that in the middle. And you can do this with, well, it works super well with these 3D embossing folders. In particular, if you've got some large open areas, like these balloons have more large open areas. But this would be a great way to kind of make a little a masculine card just out of all these metallic-y colors. Or it would be a really nice anniversary card or a special birthday, like a 50th birthday or a 60th birthday. Okay. And lastly, I'm going to use Copper Pot. Now, I didn't really test out this particular way of adding the color beforehand, so it's going to be a lovely surprise for all of us. Okay. And I'm just going to squeak a little in here on the edges. We've got balloons on the edges. I'm not going to worry too much about getting it perfect. Okay. I'm going to add a little bit more gold, I think. I've got a few around the edges. Hello to everyone that I may not have said hi to yet that's popped in. Thanks for popping in. Nice to have you here, hanging out on a Thursday. All right. So I'm going to put those guys aside. And now I could come through here and mist with water. But it's a pigment ink, so it's a slow drying ink. So let me grab my Platinum 6. I'll just bring that in here. And let's see what we get, guys. All right. And so with the Platinum 6, I found that if I do the A plate, the B plate, and then one cutting pad. Okay, so A plate, B plate, embossing folder, and then one cutting pad, I get the best result. Depending on what machine you have, you might have to kind of play around a little bit with your sandwich. But this is what I found works very well. Okay. So let's see what we get, guys. Ooh, that's pretty. Look at that, really kind of a subtle. I like that. But you can see the dimension we get on that, the depth. Okay. So I'm wondering what would happen if we gave that folder a little bit of a mist and then ran that back through the Big Shot. Let's try. Just going to give that folder a little mist. And we're going to run that back through because our paper will be in the same spot. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Christy. So we'll roll that back through. All right. And see if that gives us any different of a look. Okay. Ooh. It's kind of interesting. You can see where it had a little bit more moisture. Yeah, really fun. So I'm thinking out loud. We're going to do one more step. Before we do that, I'm just going to clean off this side, but I'm wondering if we added some black ink onto that folder. Just using a little bit of alcohol to clean off that folder. Okay. So this is the front side. Oh, thanks, Matt. So I'm going to grab my Altenew Obsidian ink. Okay, I'm actually going to make sure that I'm just going to set this back in. I was kind of playing with embossing yesterday a little bit. Kind of stenciling first and then embossing, which I had a little bit of a tricky time lining up the stencil. But I also used some double-sided tape, so this side is a little bit sticky. So I'm just going to run over the top here lightly. Okay, so you can see that this is the flat side is picking up the black ink. I'm just wondering if we can intensify that black background on what we've already colored and embossed. So I'm just kind of lightly running over the top of that. And you can see that the ink is going predominantly onto those flat areas. So I'm really using a really light hand to run that over the top. Okay, so let's slide that over and see what we get. We'll see how well I line that up after moving it. Okay, I'm going to run that back through. Okay, excuse the wiggle of the camera there, friends. Oh, and I can see I'm going to get black ink all over the place. Oh, okay, interesting. It's kind of hard to pick up on camera. Although I can see the spots where I missed inking, but adding that pigment ink really does kind of darken up that, adds a lot more depth to that area. Okay, so really, really fun. Not vintagey. I can't think of the word. Anyways, I like that. Hello, Irene. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside to dry because I used black pigment ink on that, so that's going to take a little bit to dry. So we're going to put that aside and play with that guy a little bit later. Kind of add a finishing touch. I'm just going to quickly clean up my folder. You know what I probably should have done? I just added alcohol to that, so I'm not going to be able to save it, but I should have just misted it with water and run it back through, because then we could have used the stencil to color it. Oh well, next time. Let's see, I have a little bit of black paper stuck here. Let me just I was all proud of the fact that I had this mat nice and perfectly clean. Not anymore. Okay. So we'll bring that guy back in a little bit later. But what I want to do right now too is just show you quickly how easy it is to pre-emboss this. And let's work with the white cardstock. Okay, and then we're going to use the layering stencils to just quickly color these in. And then I'm going to show you too how you can use those stencils just by themselves. Okay, so in this layering stencil set, let me just move that up. There we go. Okay, we've got six stencils. Okay, 3 color the balloons, and then you've got 2 that will color the ends of the balloons. Okay, I think we're just going to color the balloons themselves to just make it go a little faster. And what I like to do is just kind of place my cardstock. I'm just going to move that up here. I'm lining up this balloon here, so that should give me enough room to do them all. So super, super easy to line up. Okay, and I'm using my stamp wheel, the sticky mat on my stamp wheel, because that's going to hold this stencil in place very nicely. I just want to make sure I have it. I think I've got it there. There. Okay, so I'm just pressing around the edge here, and you can kind of tell if you use these sticky mats at all. As soon as you kind of see it kind of changes color a little bit underneath, then you know that is stuck on there. And we're going to stick with the metallic inks, but this time we're going to use them on white, obviously. So I'll just turn that here. I think you can see that. Okay, I'm going to load up my brush. There we go. So it is stuck down, but I'm just kind of holding that down a little bit to make sure I don't get underneath. I can sometimes have a tendency of kind of going ham on inking, pushing really hard, that then I end up accidentally pushing the ink underneath the stencil. Okay. So what I'm finding here as well, you load up your brush super well, then you get a lovely, I want this nice and opaque. And getting a lot of ink on the brush, you get a lovely, solid, opaque application. But we'll probably have to hit this with a little bit of heat, because again, it's a pigment ink, so it's slow drying. Okay. So you can just see all that shine. So pretty. We're going to pull that off. See, the stencil is stuck on there so well, it doesn't want to come off. Okay, just going to set that aside. And I probably should take it off my mat before hitting it with too much heat, but I'm just going to do, I think, just a wee bit, because I was quite heavy with that application. If we have a little bit come off on the back of the stencil, that's going to be okay. That's not too bad. Let me hit it with a little more heat, but don't do this. I am not responsible if you hit your photopolymer mat with a little bit of heat and it warps a bit. Okay, so I'm going to come through and line up the second layer. So again, super, super simple to line up. Very easy. So this would be a really great set to make a whole ton of cards at once. And if you had multiple mats like this, you could kind of, you know, let's say you had a couple of them, you could kind of do a couple of your, 2 of your layers at the same time, right? So you could have one that would have, so basically you're making 2 cards at the same time, or, and then switch out your, swap your layers to the next set. It's not really making sense the way I'm saying it. In my head, I've got the process already figured out. I'll show you what I mean after we do this guy, okay? So if you've got, say, a Misty with a sticky mat, you could use that as well. So I'll show you what I mean. And then you'll be like, okay, you did such a terrible job of explaining that, Rosie. This is way more simple the way you're showing us. Okay, so now I'm using the gold. And this ink covers really, really well. Okay. So we'll just give that a moment to dry, and then I'll show you what I was talking about. So let's say we're going to pretend that I have a sticky mat here in my Misty. Okay, so like I was saying, if you wanted to mass produce these cards, so using this stencil and embossing folder, you could, for example, bring in another, we're pretending this is a sticky mat. I do have one, but I don't have it in here right now. Okay, so you'd have this on your sticky mat, then you could have this stencil on here, right? Let's say. Pretend I have that, it's lined up like this. Okay, and then you'd have your, if you've got a second sticky mat, okay, you'd have your other stencil. So this is stencil 2, this is stencil 1. So what you could do, you'd stencil, add your ink to here, set that aside, bring in stencil 2, add your ink to here. Hopefully by the time you're done inking this one's dry. So then you would just swap these stencils and then do your other inky color. So you could, essentially you'd be working on two panels at once. If you have, you know, a couple of different sticky mats or that to work on. But super great way to get multiple cards at a time. Which, you know, if you have everything out, so much easier. All right, so we're gonna bring in stencil 3. And again, I'm just gonna line that up. Okay, and I'm going to press that down. All right, and I'm going to bring in Copper Pot. Okay, grab my blending brush. And now what I'm probably going to do, I kind of really like, whoops, got ink on my fingers. I may just kind of designate these particular blending brushes to use with these metallic inks. Kind of assign them to these 3 inks. But would be really, really beautiful if you've got some floral stencils as well to just play with these ink colors and layering them, and maybe layering them with different colors as well. Okay. All right. Does anyone have this set? Does anyone have the Lisa Horton embossing folders? Any of them, and with the coloring stencils? I'm going to show you some new folders that are coming here shortly after we've played with these guys. But she makes some beautiful, beautiful folders. And then I have just the little edge there. Okay. Not yet, Christy? I have a few. I have this one. I bought this balloon one because I thought super easy. And who, doesn't need birthday cards? Okay, so I'm just going to just loosen that off the back there. Okay. You've got a few folders, Matt? Yeah, so look at that shine. So I do have to do kind of the ends of the balloons, but we'll do that later. You have some too, Irene? Do you have florals? So let's see really quick, or if we can get a little bit of that kind of oxide type of water reaction. I'm not sure if it'll work if it's dried, but we'll give it a shot. It might be something we want to do when it's still kind of drying. So I'm just going to do a little, ooh, can you guys, I don't know if you guys can see that. That is really pretty. There, I'm going to turn that. You can see that. Let me grab some paper towel here. Oh, wow. So it doesn't really, I think it might, kind of do more of that oxidizing if it's a little bit damp still, but look at how the water drops kind of sit on top and kind of adds some texture to it. That's pretty. I like that. Super pretty. Okay, and now the one thing I forgot to let you guys know. So this is an A2 card panel that I've cut here, this white one. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then the folder itself, the size of the folder is, here, I'll turn it this way because then you can see the whole size. It's just under a 5 by 7. So if we put this on a 5 by 7 card base, you'd have a beautiful, perfect little mat around there. Okay? But let's finish off this panel, and then I'm going to show you a couple more metallic ink colors that are coming soon, and the other embossing folders. The new ones coming on the way. Okay. So I've got this Happy Birthday die cut. And so this is from Lawn Fawn. I think it's called Giant Happy Birthday. I'm not sure. I thought I actually had the die, but when I went to look for it, I only found the die cuts. So I'm not sure. I might have borrowed I might have borrowed Carla's die or somebody's die and cut a whole bunch of them. Okay. But I think here we have the option to either leave it black like this. Okay, or we can color it. We can ink it any of these colors. I'm thinking I'm going to do the copper pot. We're going to quickly give that add some ink to that. Maybe we won't ink all of it. Let's kind of ink down the middle of the letters and then see what it looks like. I have one other place to look in my craft room, so maybe after the live I'll see if I can find this, if I do have this die or not. Because this would look great popped up, but it's much easier to cut, like maybe two or three more layers and then layer it on top to add dimension, as opposed to adding foam adhesive. Oh, I like that. See, I just feel it needs to be just a little bit, if it's got a little bit of dimension behind it. Can you see that? Then it doesn't get lost in the background. Even still, it doesn't really get lost in the background. But there we go. And I think this would be great, great masculine card. What I might do, let's see if we can get that look with the water that we got on. If we can kind of get these little dots, little raised pieces of texture with the water. Let's see if we can get that on here, because I think that would be perfect for a masculine card. All right, let's bring in this little piece of kitchen roll. Oh, I like that. I think it's one of those things where I might have to wait for it to dry, but you can just see. It's hard to see. We've just got little spritzes of texture here and there. Okay, but I'm going to set that aside to dry, and then this is basically what it's going to look like. I'm going to put it on a card base, and I'm going to leave it at a 5x7. Because more than likely this card is going to end up being gifted to, you know, we get invited to a friend of hubby's birthday party. And then, I don't know, it kind of feels like, you know, it feels like I might have gone to the store to buy the card, even though I didn't, when it's a 5x7 size. Okay, so I promised to show you guys this stuff. And we're going to talk about this new product coming from Lisa Horton. Okay, I should say there's actually, I count 10 new colors of metallic inks, I believe. Okay, so exactly the same properties as these three that we've just looked at, but different colors. Okay, I can show you already a couple of the new colors. So one is Coastline, and let me grab, there's never a piece of paper handy when you want it. Let's see, maybe we'll grab this one. I just want to show you what this color looks like. We'll just go direct to paper here. So this is Coastline. Okay, that's one of the 10 colors coming. And then we've got, I haven't opened this other one up yet. All right. And then we've got Mojito. Look at how pretty that ink pad is. All right. I'm not really doing justice to these colors, but that is two of the new colors. And I should show you what they look like on black too, because I think kind of the beauty of these. Actually, I will show you what they look like on black, but let's do it. I'm going to do it with showing you one of the embossing folders. Yeah, the blue is beautiful, isn't it, Cynthia? It's gorgeous. Okay, so Lisa Horton is coming out with this new product. It's called A Year in Bloom. Okay, and it's a set of 12 3D embossing folders, one for each month. Okay, so I'm going to show you the folders. Maybe I'll see if I can, there we go. And then I'll kind of show you a few of them embossed. Okay, so this is January, which is Crocus. Okay, and I want to show you there's a few things that I think are pretty cool. I got to watch a retailer class that she did, kind of introducing these folders and some of the new ink colors and sharing a few techniques. But one of the things I thought was really great, it's got the name of the folder down here, okay, and then the name is on the front of the folder, okay, so you'll know that, okay, when you're playing around with some different techniques, if you're going to ink the front of the folder, okay, and the front of the folder is always the flat side, okay, so having the name on the front is super, super helpful so that you know what you're working with. and where you're at. Okay, so that January is crocus. Okay, February is violets. All right. And so the great thing with this packaging, I mean, this is exactly what the folder looks like when you emboss with it. Okay, March is daffodils. So that's a beauty as well. And I'll show you a couple of examples of the paper actually embossed. Okay, April is tulips. Okay, and these again are same size, just slightly under 5x7, but would work perfectly for a 5x7 card. Okay, peonies is May. It's a beautiful bloom. Okay, June is foxgloves. All right, July is daisies. Okay, we've got a beautiful dahlias for August. All right, fuchsia is the flower for September. I'm not a flower person. I mean, I appreciate the beauty of them, but I would have no idea what at least 80% of these are called. Okay, October is thistle. This is really gorgeous. We might need to, and I'm going to put this aside. I think we might have to emboss this to see what it looks like. Okay, poppies for November. And then December is winter flowers. And this is pretty because it's like winter flowers and then almost like falling snow. Okay, so that's the full set. Still chatting with Sandy. We're just, throwing around some ideas of possibly creating a class or two around these folders. So if that's something you think you might be interested in, let us know. Okay, what I want to show you, let's see, we're going to bring in these inks here because here is crocus, and I've embossed that on black, but look at the detail on that paper. Okay, and I'm just going to grab let's do the solid gold. Okay. Erlene, I'm not entirely sure yet. I will find out from Sandy and we'll post that for you, okay? Didn't quite have a chance yet to find out what the cost is going to be on that yet. Okay. But you can see kind of how deep that impression is. It's gorgeous. Hi, Carla. Yeah, they're all beautiful. And I'm just going to use that solid gold metallic ink and just lightly swipe over the top. Actually, I'm kind of not doing this right. Kind of want to go one way, but look at it, such a deep emboss that it sticks us, that the ink just sits right on those high points. Like, you literally could do a whole gift set of cards with all these embossing folders. Look at how gorgeous that is. Oh, thanks, Carla. I just had them done last week. But it's a little hard to pick up some things sometimes, hence my tweezers being here. Okay, so I love, 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 love how beautiful that is. Okay, just gonna clean that off here. Let me grab another one that I pre-embossed just to show you. Kind of show you what the tulips look like. Can you see how deep that embossing is? Like, it's gorgeous. Yeah, super beautiful. So let's do, I thought it'd be fun to kind of see what this guy looks like. So I'm just gonna grab a white cardstock here, but why don't we add some color to it just because we can. Let's add some of these new colors to it here really quickly. Yeah, it is. And I kind of just shoved that aside, but as this dries back, it will also get even shinier. Okay, I think I'm gonna grab a couple of ink blending foams. And where's my handle? I got ink blending foams all over the place here. Okay. So I just want to kind of randomly lay down some color. Just to emboss this. There we go. It's probably going to look weird because what I should be doing is if I have this folder here, you can kind of randomly ink, but in kind of a specific place. You know what I mean? But we're just wanting to get kind of a quick look at what this folder looks like. Celine, I'm going to find out from Sandy. I believe that they actually come in the set, but we're just going to kind of discuss that, whether if it's only going to be sold as the set or if we can bring them in and kind of go from there. I'm assuming that it will be some form of a set, because I don't believe that we are able to kind of get them in singles ourselves as retailers. So that may not help a whole lot yet, but we'll get some more answers coming soon, okay? Oh, yeah, they do kind of match. And they are kind of sparkly too. Look, I didn't even plan that. Funny, hey? Okay. So I'm just gonna we're gonna go all wild with this, guys. You'll be like, what are you doing? Okay. So I think that what would be kind of fun, okay, so again, this side is the front one. So if we wanted to, we could go over this here with another ink color as well. So you know what? I think let's just go for it. Let's add some gold, because I think that would just be kind of cool to see what it would look like. Okay. So I can see as this kind of dries, as it starts to dry, you kind of start to see a little more of the shimmer on it. Go well. Thanks, Glenda. All right. So I'm gonna go down this way. I'm gonna kind of turn that, go across here. We'll try to get it over the whole folder, but as best I can. Again, not something I planned, but we'll see how it turns out. But yeah, if you're interested in the folders, just why don't you leave a comment on the video and I'll go through the comments, and then I'll just kind of give Sandy a list of who's interested and what their questions are. And then we'll be able to probably post something in the Facebook group with all the details. This was very new for us to kind of just see them now, so I'm just still gathering information. Okay. Okay, I really like sometimes some of the 3D embossing folders, they're they're not quite as deep as these ones are, so you end up getting a lot of color. Not that it's bad, but you get a lot of color kind of in the depressed areas that are being embossed where you don't really want it, but this kind of really sits nice and flat. Okay. Let's pop that over, grab my big shot, and I should maybe zoom out a little bit, be easier to see. Ooh, I like this already, guys. And where's my plate? Okay. Sorry, I have this all turned around. There we go. There is my plate. Get that in camera. And let's see what happens. I'm gonna go I have that really close to the edge of my, okay, and I'm gonna go back the other way as well. Hopefully that paper didn't move, but just to deposit as much ink as possible. Yeah, exactly, Glenda. Okay. Let's see what we have. Oh, look how pretty. Oh, pretty. Look at how that does a really good job depositing that ink in the background. Okay, so because I didn't ink the whole piece, then that's why you're seeing some of these whiter areas, but we could come back in there and add some ink. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? Okay, so look at the depth of the embossing. Yeah. Yeah. So super gorgeous. So we could you could just come in with a little, let's see, could probably come in if we wanted to and just lightly add some ink to. It's pretty, isn't it? Yeah, but look at that. Then you just add I had a sentiment here. Oh. We could just add a sentiment like super simple. Happy Mother's Day, done. And that's so gorgeous. So that's that's the thistle. So the October, yeah. Oh, a Scottish thistle. Well, thanks, Joanne. See, I didn't know that. So beautiful. So yeah, these are gorgeous, gorgeous embossing folders. And again, we'll I'll let Sandy know what your questions are surrounding them, and we'll get you guys some answers. But there is some of the new embossing folders, okay? And then we've also played with today the metallic inks. Wherever I put the gold, it's underneath something. There we go. The metallic inks and the celebration balloons folders. So I'll finish these up, turn them into cards, okay? And then post them in the Facebook group so you can see what they all look like. And yeah, so keep your eye on the store. These new metallic inks, the new colors, these are 2 of the 10. Those will be coming soon. And as well as the Year in Bloom embossing folders. And again, we'll get some more information for you guys on that. Yeah. So thank you for hanging out with me, everyone. Oh, I took a little bit longer than I intended. My apologies. Have a fabulous, fabulous rest of the day. And yeah, if it's cold where you are like it is here, it'll be a really great weekend to do some crafting. So enjoy your weekend, everyone. Thanks for stopping in. And yeah, take care, everyone. Have a great, great day. You are so welcome. It is my pleasure to hang out with you all. All right. Happy crafting, friends. Bye.